Fairway values family, and we treat our employees and our customers like their family.
If you're looking for a place to shop, our service is amazing.
We have put an emphasis on hiring good people.
One of the things that we talk about is just doing the right thing.
And that is so key to this day and age.
Fareway just isn't about selling groceries. It's about taking care of people.
That, to me, is the best thing we can do at Fareway.
Parker McCullum. Burn It Down Tour 2024, June 27th, Wells Fargo Arena. ACM Best New Artist, Parker McCullum Live, with special guest Corey Kent.
Finally got a handle on you. What in the hell does a man?
On sale now at iowaeventcenter.com. Parker McCullum Live.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa Everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
Hello, welcome to Two Guys here on the 20th of June, 2024. My name is Chris Williams. I am joined as always by Chris Hassel, who is in Florida. I'm here in the center of the universe, Bondurant, Iowa. God bless y'all. We are presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. We are in the Channel Seed Studios as we are each and every day. We have a fun show planned for you today. We're going to talk about Royce White and strippers. We're going to talk about private equity and college athletics. We are going to talk about dance recitals. We got a lot of stuff to get to today. How are you, Hassel?
I'm doing all right.
You look tired today. Are you tired today?
Well, I just got up.
Okay.
Literally, I got up.
I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to call you out. I
got
just
up
said you
20
looked
minutes
tired.
ago.
I was concerned about you.
Hassel sleeps in the Channel Seed polo, if you didn't know that, by the way.
Yeah. I just rolled out of bed in the seed polo. I was spreading my seed all over that bed.
God, that's a terrible thought. That's a terrible.
So you still have your McDonald's outfit on?
I do. The freaking cord. It's inflation, I tell you. It's inflation. No, I don't know. I'll get it. It's supposed to be here on Saturday now. So, yeah.
Okay.
I know it doesn't look great, but I like it. It's like I have both hands free. It's, you know what I mean? Like it. I can hear you. Right?
You're supposed to have your hands free.
Yeah.
You know, doing a podcast, you shouldn't have to hold a microphone in front of your head.
It's nice. It's nice. No, really a lot to get to. For
what are we going to start with?
I want to start with Royce White.
Really? We're starting with? Oh my God!
I want to talk about Urban Meyer. This Royce White thing is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Have you seen this interview that he did with this guy?
Yes.
Slow me back everybody up. One of the greatest players in the history of Iowa State basketball, Royce White, is running for Senate, I believe. Matt, right? It's Senate. It's not
he's running
like
for
a House.
the Senate.
Okay,
he's
it's not
going
the
against
House.
big Amy Klobuchar up in Minnesota.
who was once a presidential candidate. So Royce has risen to the, I don't know if I'd call it the top. I don't really know what I would call what Royce has done, but it is what it is.
So he's a Republican, correct? On the Republican side?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and I guess this didn't really surprise me at all. Like there was some investigations going on, or like some journalism, and they found that he had spent $1,200 in campaign funds at a strip club.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only reason I saw this, because I don't really follow this stuff that much anymore, to be honest. But Royce is kind of in my algo, I think, because of the Iowa State things. And I keep tabs on him, right? He's a former Iowa State All-American. I keep tabs on him. And this thing pops up where he does this interview with this guy about just everything, and they asked him about this strip club. It came to me through the Daily Show, so you're gonna hear like laughing in the background, and because the Daily Show is like making fun of him. And check out Royce's interview with this guy about the strip club.
Recently revealed you spent campaign donations at a strip club. Is that true?
That's not true.
Okay.
It was a reference to a campaign filing with
Yes.
the FEC that was not done properly.
Your claim is there were filings which said you spent campaign funds at a strip club, but they were incorrect filings.
No, they didn't say that I spent the funds at a strip club. Or no, let's say they didn't say that I spent the funds on strippers.
But it was spent at a strip club.
Well, strip club they sell food at the strip club, don't they?
So you've spent the money on food at a strip club. Is that more accurate?
You seem to be very unfamiliar with strippers and strip clubs and drag strip shows, so I'll inform you, maybe
Please.
you aren't informed, that they do have food at strip clubs.
So what you're saying is the money was
No, wait,
spent
did
at
you
a
know
strip
that, though?
club.
Did you know that?
I know strip clubs have
Have you ever been to a strip club?
One time.
Did you like the food?
No.
You got to go to better strip clubs.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so what it sounds like.
What's the worst part, that he spent the $1,200 at the strip club, or like that he spent $1,200 on a meal at a strip club? It seems very irresponsible to me.
Well, I can add a little bit of context here.
Please,
because
please do.
I know you guys are just living in Iowa, in Bondurant. You haven't really been out exploring the country.
No strip clubs in Bondurant.
We just got Wild Fox running around. We have an update on that too, by the way.
I have grown to learn that people actually do go to strip clubs to eat, and some strip clubs have incredible food. I've never experienced this myself. I'm going to be honest. I've never seen any food at any strip club I've been to, and I've been to a handful. It's usually just, beer or whatever. But there are strip clubs that
$1,200 worth of food.
Well, no, I don't think he's saying it wasn't all for him, and there may have been a gaggle of people. But yes,
he's just picking up the tab.
I have been told by people I have worked with that they will go out for a nice dinner at the strip club.
Hey, honey, it's tired. Been a long week of work. I don't feel like cooking tonight. Let's get the kids and go to the lumberyard.
Well, see, they're not
Come on.
like the lumberyard, though. It's not like Daisy Dukes.
Heading over to Beach Girls for dinner tonight.
Like, do some
I'll be back in a
research.
few hours.
What was there was a story a few years ago about somebody that went wild in an Atlanta strip club. Something about the chicken wings there. An NBA player. Like, there are people that swear by strip club food. So I'm just trying to culture you a little bit. It's not that outrageous.
It seems insane.
Well, now the fact that he may have used campaign donations to buy a strip club meal, yeah, that's a little bit out there. But I'm just telling you, it's not that crazy for some people to think, hey, you know what? You want to have a nice meal tonight? Let's go to, whatever the lounge is called.
Let me say this real quick, and I hope Royce White loses, okay? Because I don't think he'd be a great representative for our country. But that son of a bitch played that off well.
He did. He kind of threw it back at him, and he was having fun with him. He's like, "What? You never been to a strip club before?
Yeah,
Maybe you have."
You go into this and you're thinking, this piece of crap, like he's totally taking advantage of this. And then all of a sudden, Royce, Van Winkle and I were talking about this before we started. Somehow Royce can say the most outrageous, just sometimes disgusting, horrible thing. And he's like, and you hear him, and then you're like, oh, well, doesn't sound that bad now. Maddie, you wanted to add to this.
So apparently he spent this $1,200 after he lost, the week after he lost the election. So he ran
election.
So he ran in 2022. He ran for the House against Ilhan Omar up there in Minnesota, and lost, and just went on a strip club buffet binge eating. I don't know. Yeah, it was Lou Williams, by the way, in the NBA, who had a feast at the strip club with chicken wings.
Yeah, what was the story about that? I mean, it was a big deal, I remember, in the national media, and that's partly how I know about this culture of like having legit meals at a strip club.
Prime rib night down at Big Earl's.
His nickname was Lemon Pepper Lemon Pepper Lou.
Nick says that Daisy Dukes and the Lumberyard have an ad out looking for a gourmet chef.
He is an interesting guy, that's for sure.
Did he win your vote, Van Woke? You know, if you were a Minnesota constituent,
he spent that money down in your neck of the woods.
Yeah, he's fun. It was in Florida.
It
was Miami.
Was it? Okay, so that's this is really starting to add up now for me.
That somebody actually could go and have a $1,200 dinner at a strip club.
Yes. And it's not like out of the ordinary.
But you are right. But you say that to a couple of boys like me and Matt here.
Right.
We couldn't even fathom that.
Right. You say that to me 10 years ago and I wouldn't be able to fathom it. But I'm out here living life, man. I'm cultured
West Palm
now.
Beach, man.
Now,
all them rich
that being
people
said,
around
I'm not going to be like, you know what? Let's go to the strip club tonight and have a meal. That doesn't sound fun to me.
So, like, when you eat dinner at a strip club,
that's a good question, and I'm not going to be able to answer this because I don't know.
Like, are the
I was
strippers
wondering
waitresses?
the same thing. Yeah, I'm wondering the same thing. Is there a separate area? Like,
yeah.
Do they leave you?
I don't necessarily know if I want that gal.
Yeah, do they
rubbing
leave
up
you
on my steak? You know what I mean?
I thought
And do
most
they leave
of
you
them were
alone?
like buffet style, so they're in a whole separate area of the strip club, probably. I don't know this, but
it's like the Golden Corral over here, and then the strip joint over there.
I don't think I'll ever find out.
We need to get Royce on. We need to ask more questions. Royce, I don't give a shit about your political aspirations. I would like to know more about this strip club meal.
a couple quick Google searches popped up, say Tootsie's Cabaret in Miami or the Booby Trap on the River are the two top strip clubs in Miami. So
the Booby Trap on the River?
Yeah.
That sounds like something you guys would have in Bondurant.
Did I tell you about that one from back home that got shut down, the strip club?
Maybe. I mean,
it wasn't in Clarinda, but it was back home. This apparently allegedly a gal was under 18 dancing, so like serious stuff. And they tried to claim that it was not a strip club, but it was art. That it was like a performance center, not a adult entertainment. And it was this whole deal. I had to report on it when I was back home. That's the only reason.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was like a huge story. Like
there was a strip club that opened in Muscatine, like right after I think it was right after I graduated college. I never went, but I heard that they didn't have a stage, so they would stack milk crates up, and the dancers would dance on the milk crates. It didn't last long.
Yeah, it seems like poor business. And you would think, if they're wearing heels, it would get
I know.
stuck
I was
in
thinking
there.
the same thing. The heels goes down through the hole in the milk crate.
Really funny comment here by English. Rest in peace, Maddie's search algorithm. He's in there searching Miami strip clubs, Lou Williams.
Yeah, and he just said in the chat, was it called Stilettos? Yes, it was called Stilettos, Matt, the strip club in Muscatoon. Wow, Matt knew that. Did you know that off the top of your head?
No.
You've been there?
Good old Google. Yeah, my algorithm's going to be all messed up. He's
That's
right.
Stilettos.
Mallory's going to be, what are you
Alex
doing
Jones
on our
conspiracy theory.
All right, let's move on to some.
I can't believe we started with that.
It's hilarious. Is it not just a funny clip?
It is funny.
I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was like, this is insane. But the thing is, in like the culture of our country, like I don't think it really will impact many people either way. They know who they're voting for. Either Democrat or Republican.
Well, yeah,
I'm going to
for
vote
sure.
either way. I wanted Did you see what Urban Meyer said? Iowa plays Ohio State this year, and this kind of ties in with the conversation we had on Monday when we were ranking like most interesting games. This makes this game even less interesting to me. Urban Meyer says, quote, he's on a radio station in Columbus. As of now, this is one of the most talented rosters in the last decade, maybe ever. I mean, that's a big statement. They've got to play. But you look at the quality of athlete at every position, I've never seen anything like it. Jim Tressel, the human sweater, remember him?
The sweater vest.
Yes, the vest. He had a sweater vest. He says, I don't know if I've ever seen that many great players in that building all at once. Every position, every place you've turned. So the hype machine is rolling at Ohio State this year. And wow, that kind of sucks for Ryan Day too. Guy who's already got enough pressure on him to beat Michigan and do all this stuff. It's like, oh, go ahead and throw gasoline all over this fire, guys. What do you make of that? Is this just off-season fodder, or do you think Ohio State's that good?
I have heard Ohio State is incredible. Like if Georgia's not the team, it's Ohio State. And that Ohio State might be more talented than Georgia, even though we might see Georgia number 1 in the preseason poll. And I think, Maddie, can you pull up the odds to win the college football playoff this year? I want to say Georgia's the favorite and Ohio State's second. They kept their quarterback room together. I know there were a lot of people hoping that Iowa could grab one of those guys. Didn't happen. Ohio State is always...
Their payroll is so massive.
Oh, God,
like,
yeah.
It would take a lot to lure even like a third-string guy away from there.
They're always the most talented team in the Big Ten, top to bottom. Even I think in these last couple of years where Michigan has beaten them, I do think Ohio State has had more talent on the team. They just haven't been able to put it together against Michigan. They're beating everybody except Michigan. To hear that they're even more talented than they have been, that is scary. And Matt's got the odds up now. Georgia's plus 320 to win it all, and then right behind them, Ohio State at plus 400. Then it's a drop down to 750 for Texas. And you're right. Like, this is why I'm not putting Ohio State as the most intriguing game on Iowa's schedule, because I just don't see how Iowa can compete at Ohio State against this team.
Yeah, it's like being the most difficult game doesn't make it the most intriguing game.
I put that out last night, and I had a lot of pushback from people saying, yeah, they wouldn't put Ohio State up that high either because of that. Like, why would you put Ohio State there when it's just going to – but the reason I did –
I understand your reasoning for sure.
Because that's the one game where you want to see, okay, can Iowa score? Can Iowa compete? Have they bridged that gap at all? Because isn't that the one thing really that has been keeping Iowa fans from really enjoying these last few seasons? Yeah, they're winning games. They're winning a lot of games. But they're not competing at all in the games against these really good to great teams. And that really, it hurts my enjoyment.
And, Iowa, I think, I don't know about your fan base. I'm just me as an outsider. It feels like your fan base really, it's almost like the end of the Tom Davis thing where it's like you've had this sustained level of success and they're craving to do more. Is that fair? Like where?
Yes. Yes, because... Well, I mean, what are we? We're close to year 25, and yes, it's been great. They're winning a bunch of games. This has been one of the best little eras inside the long Ferentz era, as far as wins go, beating rivals. But when there's such a huge gap from really the haves and the have-nots in the conference and in college football, it's tough to swallow. Because at least show that you can compete. That's what I want to see. Like, Iowa used to always be able to compete, even if it was the big boy. And sometimes you beat those teams. Sometimes you beat a Michigan, an Ohio State. These last couple years have just, because of the offense, have just been sickening how far apart they are.
I don't think it's going to close in this year because I think they've gone one way.
So what are you saying? You think it's going to be 30-0 again in this game?
I don't know about that, but I'm just going off of Ohio State, man. Like the difference in Ohio State, this is how I see it, and even Michigan to an extent, where I still don't view Michigan the same way. Under Harbaugh, I've viewed them as still kind of a developmental, where they got a lot better from September to November under Harbaugh, right? And they strategically did it. They would play nobody.
Because they wouldn't play anybody, yeah.
Yeah. What I see from Ohio State is 10 years ago, I think Ohio State was still like a really good Big Ten program, right? Like they were this elite, like they've really, more so than Michigan, in my opinion. And I know this is crazy because Michigan won the national championship. Just hear me out. The way they recruit, the way they're running things. They feel more like an SEC team playing in the Big Ten. And
They're
that's
more like Alabama.
Yes, because their talent level is just higher than it was. According to these guys, I mean, these guys coached a couple of the best teams in the history of college football.
Yeah.
You know, with Urban Meyer at Florida and Jim Tressel. Like, I mean, and who knows? Like, again, maybe this is off-season fodder. Maybe we're spending too much time on it. If they're right, I don't think that this is the same type of Ohio State team that Iowa played 2 years ago and got.
Oh, God.
I think they're better. I think they're a lot better. Now, the one question I have is Will Howard really – I mean, I've watched him in the Big 12. Like, is he locked in to be Ohio State's quarterback?
And that was the question last year. Kyle McCord wasn't good enough for them. He wasn't good enough. And they showed him the door. That's the question with Ohio State. Is the quarterback play going to be good enough?
He's fine, and he's experienced.
But is he Justin Fields?
I don't know.
Is he
he's absolutely not.
Dwayne Haskins? Like those guys were, I mean, legit college talents. Will Howard, we'll see. And he's still in a battle. I mean, they've got Devin Brown, who has played. They have a 5-star freshman there. I mean, it's crazy.
I don't think he'll finish the year.
Who, Howard?
Yeah, as a starter.
And then you go back to what Brad Heinrich said, and that the Ohio State quarterback room is making more money than the entire Iowa team. So then you start to ask, oh my God, is the gap actually going to widen?
My guess is Howard starts the year. Maddie, will you do me a favor and pull up Ohio State's schedule, please? Howard's going to start the year, and keep in mind Ohio State's one of those teams that will be able to get in that large.
Ohio State could lose twice and still get in.
Absolutely. They play in their non-con, which is really not that difficult. Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall.
Jesus, what a horrible non-con. That's pathetic.
So usually Ohio State has at least like one good game. They certainly don't this year. I don't know. That blows my thing up because I was thinking they would play somebody tough at the beginning where it makes sense to have the experienced
guy in Howard.
Their first
legit tough game, well, quote-unquote tough game is Iowa, even though I heard from a Vegas odds maker last night who thinks this line is could be around 20 when Iowa goes into Ohio State.
Right now, what would you play?
What would I put the line at?
No, what would if the line's 20 right now, would you play Iowa or Ohio State?
Oh my God. That tells me the line is probably right there. I think I would go Ohio State.
I think I would too.
Ohio State in their first game, as Matty Van Winks pulls up, they are favored by 50.5 against Akron.
Poor Zips. Those poor Zips. I want to tell you about my friends at Game Day Men's Health with locations in Ankeny, West Des Moines, and North Liberty. I actually heard from a few buddies who I didn't even know have been going to Game Day Men's Health. One of them's down 50 pounds. One of them's down 30 pounds.
And what are you down?
I'm down close to 20. But yes. Oh, but that's since like the end of March Madness. I always do like a detox, so I want to just be fair. But these guys they're both going there. So the weight loss aspect of what these folks are doing at Game Day Men's Health is really incredible. And these are just regular guys. Like, I've known these guys for a really long time, and they're just good dudes around Ankeny. They wanted to support my buddy Bill, and they told me that they could that I could tell their stories. So Game Day Men's Health, there's locations all over the country. We're specifically promoting the ones here in the great state of Iowa and West Des Moines, Ankeny, and North Liberty. You can feel your best, gentlemen. Did you know I turn 40 next week?
Next week?
Yes.
You got any big plans?
I do not.
Just a low T shot?
Let's get a low
Give
T
it to
shot
me right in the sphincter.
They can give you a pill too, by the way. I told you I misspoke on that. Yeah, you can get pills. They got everything there at Game Day Men's Health. It doesn't have
when
to be
I
a
get
shot.
back from my extravagant vacation to St. Bart's, I'm scheduling a trip up to West Palm to see Game Day Men's Health.
That'll be good.
I do want to ask you, because I was listening to your podcast with Bloom from last week.
Yep.
And you said,
thank you for listening. That's very
on
nice.
the podcast that you take pre-workout all day long. Is that something that the doctors at Game Day Health told you to do?
No.
Is that why you're feeling so good all the time? Because you're taking pre-workout all day, every day? Like, you've got a problem. I mean, you took Fiberlax for 2 straight years. Now you're on pre-workout all day long. What is going on?
What I do is I have this like Yeti jug, right?
Yeah.
You just drink water out of. And it's just funny like how context can change anything. So what I do is it's this drink that's got caffeine in it, but do you know like what
You're having a really hard time explaining this.
Well, I'm trying to. Do you remember like when Advocare was like the big thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not Advocare, but it's kind of like it, where it flavors your water, and it's got like vitamins and stuff like that in it.
But doesn't it have like an insane amount of caffeine and stuff?
It's got a moderate for like a normal person, but for me, it doesn't even phase me.
I've never taken pre-workout, but
It's
I
pretty
thought
intense.
you just took it pre-workout to get you all jacked up.
Let's just get me jacked up throughout the day, baby. Yeah.
So how many of these things do you take a day?
It's not things. It's powder. I don't know. I just tell the thing tastes good.
What are you talking about?
You just put it in your water.
Okay, how many
You're making
packets?
weights.
How
not
many packets? What is it?
It's got this powdery stuff, and you scoop it and you put it in your
Okay,
water.
how many scoops are you taking a day?
About 2 a day, probably.
2 a day.
And I just put it in the water and then I sip on it. Yeah.
What do the directions say? Do the directions say?
I would have
like,
to look. I don't know. I don't.
You
read
don't
the
even look at the directions.
No.
You're one of those guys that back in the day you would have just taken ephedrine and just been like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, man. I didn't look at anything. Like your wife is okay with this?
I have no idea if she even knows. She doesn't pay attention to me.
I want
my wife wants as little to do with me as possible. I can assure you. I'm not saying she wants me to die, but it won't be that big of a deal when I do.
I'm giving you homework for next show. I want you to bring the pre-workout
deal
on the show, and we can look at the little the stats on the side of the bottle, and we'll see how much you're doing because I'm a little bit worried about you.
All right. Well, I can. Tone
Mike
it
says that his pre-workout says the package specifically states do not take more than 1 scoop per day.
Feels
You're
good.
like I have one of our producers at work takes Afrin every single night.
Oh,
And
that's bad
would-
for that can like
it's
blow
real-
up your sinuses.
It's really bad, and like people have overheard him talking about this to me, and are very concerned about his health. And he's like, "Well, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm hooked. I can't. If I don't take it, I can't breathe. So I'm taking it every night." And that's kind of like you right now. You're like, I don't give a shit. I'm doing what I'm doing. Leave me alone. That's basically what you're saying.
I'll look into it.
I survived 2 years of taking a laxative every single day. I blew my colon every day.
Dude, I used to be.
And I'm fine.
I'm so much healthier than I was 5 years ago, though, when it comes to this stuff. When I was doing radio, oh, my God. Because it's hard to explain. When you have a full-time job on top of going on the air every day at 3, it's because I'm up at like 6. Most of those guys who do that job go to work at like noon, and then
Who do what job? What are you talking about?
Afternoon drive radio.
Okay.
But I'm up with kids, and half the time I was up all night with kids, and like I would go to that radio show with a Red Bull in hand, and every day I would stop by Smoky Row and buy an Americano, like a souped up Americano. Like I was consuming more caffeine after 3 o'clock than most people do in an entire day. It was terrible, horrible.
Yeah, but aren't you still doing that now with the pre-workout all day?
I don't think so. I'm not concerned about it.
Between the shot you're getting in your tip for low T and all this pre-workout, there's no way that you would pass a physical for like the U.S. Olympic team. You're so loaded up with steroids right now. I bet your head
Give me
is
2
getting
minutes.
Huge.
I got to go do some push-ups, okay?
You're like Barry Bonds in his heyday. Just give me anything and everything. No wonder you feel so good. Jesus Christ. You're on steroids, HGH, everything.
I have considerably lowered my coffee intake.
You drink coffee on top of all that?
Usually only a couple of drinks. But I'm hardly drinking any coffee anymore. I used to drink. My habits were so bad about 10 years ago. Like I'm getting better, I swear. I've never had great habits, but no, it's the thing that the folks at game day, they take all your numbers and then they talk to you about it and tell you to do that. They probably are not going to appreciate the pre-workout thing. Not going to lie.
By the way, Cheese Curds, who says you'll be rocking a B cup by next year, also went and he dug into the line, the look-ahead line for Iowa Ohio State. It's 24.
Wow. Jeez. That is very telling.
Mm-hmm.
That's a huge line, man. That is like Ohio State's insane and no respect at all for Iowa either.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Both. All right. A couple other. Speaking of Iowa,
Nick is asking if Game Day Men's Health offers male mammograms as well. That's the fakest laugh you've ever given. You are so offended by this whole thing.
Not offended by anything.
I think this is throwing you for a loop here. I think you're getting defensive. I think you're lashing out. We're just looking out for your health, man.
I appreciate it. That's why I go to the doctors for, not you, Nick.
And I don't want to make light of it because someone's going to come in and say, my uncle had breast cancer, and I know that it's happened before. So I'm not making fun of that. It's just
my favorite comment was CW Pod presented by Balco.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, by the way, real quick, Nicholas, I did get the autographed Spencer Petras jersey hung yesterday.
Oh yeah,
in the studio.
I saw the picture that
yes.
you took of it. That oh my.
And then you see that autographed Brock Purdy 49ers jersey over there to the left. So we have Iowa State's greatest and Iowa's greatest, right back next to each other.
Both playing on the in near the West Coast this upcoming season.
Yep.
I am
Petras
interested to see
dark.
Pete. I can't wait to watch Utah State's first game.
Really? You can't wait to?
I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what he does. Seriously, you come on. You're telling me
I'll watch it. Yeah,
I don't know when they play. I don't know who they play.
Matt, pull up the Utah State schedule for us.
What about
if they're a week 0 game, oh my God, I'm scheduling my week 0 around it.
What about Utah Tech?
Excited
to watch them too.
I doubt that will be televised. And do you
think
even know?
Do Do you think Deacon will even start there?
That's what I was going to say. Do we even know that Deacon Hill will start for Utah Tech?
I have no idea what Utah Tech is, but they probably have a guy who's better.
It is. What is it again? Division II? No. It's FBS. They transitioned. Okay. So Van Wink's got the schedule up.
Oh my God.
Robert Morris week 1, and then
Petrus.
at USC. Oh my God, they got to go at USC and then home against Utah in weeks 2 and 3.
Oh, we are going to get a hell of a lot of Petrus. The USC game on the Big Ten Network. God, I'm already annoyed. Let's talk about these Big 12 stories from last week. So it does sound like it's going to be called the AllState Conference.
Is that's the name? It's not like the AllState 12, which would suck.
It might be that, but like I don't think anybody knows for sure. But
why can't it be? It's a fantastic job to brand here, or an opportunity, I mean, to brand. Call it the Mayhem Conference.
Oh, that's
because it kind of fits.
Yeah, that's really smart.
Now, you probably have to say, it's the All-State Mayhem Conference. Everybody would call it the Mayhem Conference. You wouldn't get maybe as much money from All-State, but
do you when you're covering like a bowl game? I always get really annoyed when they put the name in it because I don't want to call it the sponsor's name. Like it's the
like a Cheez-It Bowl.
It's the Sugar Bowl. It's not the All-State Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yes.
So really, like if you do the presented by thing, I don't think anybody's going to do anything with it.
No, it will just be the TV networks that are involved. Like it, for instance, if it's I'm just going to say from my perspective, when we talk about the Sun Bowl on CBS, I will say it's the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl because the game is on CBS. Every other bowl, I'm just saying I'm just calling it the Sugar Bowl.
Point set.
But when I worked at ESPN, you had to say All-State Sugar Bowl, and you had to put that on the graphics and all that. So some people have to use it, others don't. But I know what you mean.
I can just see the media being dicks about this and just because it would annoy me. Oh, it's the Big 12 Conference presented by Allstate. No. But, like, I guarantee when I'm on Learfield doing postgame, that's what I got to call it.
Well, it's like you get the press releases from, let's just say, the University of Iowa, and it won't just say, like, it won't just say Lisa Bluter. It'll say, like, the Lil Dicky M. Night Shyamalan women's basketball coach.
Yeah. Well, college athletics has been dipping into this for a while, but it's now. I have a couple of takes on this. Like, so one, I don't like it, but two, like I don't blame them because it's not their fault that they're in this situation. I will absolutely point my finger.
It sucks,
at Jim
but
Delaney
and you made some good points on the podcast I listened to with Bloom, like. This isn't the Big 10 of old. This isn't the Big 12 of old, which was the Big 8. You get fucking Utah's in the conference, Arizona State.
There's no history here.
So,
Nebraska,
you know what?
Texas,
it's pretty much gone anyway.
Yeah. Rebrand it, whatever.
Yes. The number in your conference doesn't mean shit anymore. There's not 12 teams in the conference. So, whatever. But what I will say is, if you're going to get a title sponsor, you better get a signed agreement for a long period of time.
Totally agree.
Because what you don't want to have happen, you don't want to have it be the All-State Conference, and then everybody gets used to it, and then, now All-State's out because we're going to get more money from Monster Energy. So then it becomes the Monster Energy Conference. And then all of a sudden you don't know what conference is what.
It's funny you said that because that's what happened to my sport, NASCAR. Like for the longest time, it was the Winston Cup Series, and that's how everybody knew it. Well, then they had to get all the tobacco stuff out, and they switch it over, and they had like 4 title sponsors within like 10 years, and it made them look small. It's like, well, why do these companies keep leaving you, right? Like, so now they just tell it.
Sprint Cup,
Sprint, Monster Energy was there.
So when you get a title spot, if you're gonna go that route, please make it for the long haul, because we can't have these things changing all the time, because then you're gonna have, inevitably, if it's the AllState conference, then AllState wants to go, oh, you know what? We want to sponsor the ACC. So then the ACC becomes the AllState conference. So
great point.
I just hope that it goes in that direction and they really think this through. Like, we need this for a long period of time. Also, I wanted to hit on the private equity stuff, which came out last week.
Real quick, I'm hearing that this is pretty lukewarm.
Thank God.
Yeah,
I'm
hearing that this is getting a lot of pushback behind the scenes.
Because this would be horrible for the people I've talked to that know this stuff. Like my buddy, I'm not going to say his name. I'm not sure if he wants me to say his name, but he works.
Bob Sacamano.
Bob Sacamano. My friend Jay Riemenschneider eats horse all the time. My friend worked in fundraising in a major athletic department and now works with private equity firms. So he knows this thing. He knows both sides of it. And I asked him to explain this to me like I'm 10. Because it is complicated. But basically, what it comes down to is if a private equity has 20% of the conference, they have all kinds of say in what goes on. And yeah, they might say it first, but they're not going to cut sports. They can do whatever the hell they want with 20%.
Mm-hmm.
They could even make you say, you know what, Iowa State's not really performing. They're out.
Kick them out. Yeah.
You could lose your entire school, your entire athletic program, if you go down this road, if you sell your soul to private equity. Because they're not in this to just help you out or just to get in the game. They are in this for one reason. They're giving you all this money so they can own part of you, so they can make more money on top of it. And if they're not making money, you're fucked. Like, Jamie Pollard's not going to be making the decisions. It's going to be somebody in the private equity firms that are making the decisions that impact your program.
And my fear, too, is that, like, this seems heavily like it's a your mark thing, and I don't know that for sure, but I'm going off of the reporting that Dodd and Thamel and then whoever else was reporting on this nationally. I mean, what if your mark's gone in 5 years and his private equity buddies who,
Yeah.
It's funny. My initial, before I studied it and really knew much about it, I was like, oh, this makes sense.
Yeah, money's money, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm with you now. That's kind of where I've landed the more I've looked into it. But like the naming thing, like I think they'd be dumb not to at this point. Like it's their name means nothing to me, at least, and I'm a Big 12 guy. The tradition is all but gone when it comes to the conference. Like there's a little bit left, but not much. And it's like I don't feel bad about it either. You got pushed into this corner. And they're just trying to compete, right? Like everything is changing right now. You've got to pay these players coming up. You're already way behind the people who you're trying to compete with. They don't give a shit about you. The Big Ten and the SEC are not going to do anything to help you out. You've got to figure it out. And if that's an edge you can get, because I can't imagine the Big Ten or the SEC does this. Maybe they'll surprise me and they need even more money. But this feels like something
they're always going to want more money. It's not like just because they're making more doesn't mean they're not going to want more on top of that.
This is true.
What's going to be worse than renaming the conference is when these teams sell the naming rights to the school. Like it's going to be the Channel Seed Cyclones.
No, I could go for that one.
And instead of the Iowa State logo at midfield, It's the Channel Seed C.
The Steeple Ridge Cyclones.
But you still can't buy
Everybody,
alcohol in the stadium.
Everybody has to take a shot of Steeple Ridge when the Cyclones score a touchdown.
Are we cheersing to the weekend already?
Let's cheers to the freaking weekend. We may as well. We got the little thingamajig pulled up right there. What are you doing this weekend?
I got to work on Friday. I know. I agreed to switch with Gara so she could go on vacation. I was nice.
Is Gara ever not on vacation?
Well, I mean, I can't say much. I'm going on vacation next week, so.
I feel like every time I pull up Twitter or Instagram, Gara's at some resort.
Going to the Keys this weekend, I think.
Oh, for her.
So
That's
I'm working today. I'm working tomorrow, but then next Wednesday I'm out. I'm heading with hopefully we'll see Dr. Oz again on the plane.
Oh yeah. You're going on your trip.
Heading out to St. Bart's. Here's something scary about the trip. Danny Cannell just went there. Danny Cannell's made a lot of money throughout his careers, from the NFL to radio to TV. Danny was only there for a day, and he said, "Get ready to take out another mortgage."
I thought you were going to say diarrhea.
Get ready.
Something in the ice.
To take out your cock. It's a naked-only beach.
Wait, so what's going on? They just charge so much for everything?
I mean, I know it's going to be expensive, but I'm having flashbacks to Greece last year on at that beach club where they were charging $28 for a 12-ounce light beer.
What's wrong with
there all day?
What's wrong with just hanging out in America on vacation?
I've said that to my wife many times, but we
going with the berries? Are you going with the berries?
Just stay back in Miami and go to the strip clubs. You got everything you need there.
Gourmet food, just right down the road.
That would be a lot cheaper, even if I did throw some cash on the stage.
Look at this guy.
That was me last year, and that was at the beach club. Oh wait, there we go. Yeah, zoom in there. Van Winks has it up on the feed here. So the cocktails. These are euros.
Is a euro more than $1?
Yes. So like an Aperol Spritz was €33, which would be close to $40.
35.40 according to
35.40. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's not that much different, really.
But that U.S. dollar just keeps losing its value.
Oh God, it's all Biden. I was right. Okay, so the beer was okay. I was wrong. The beer was €10 for a shitty beer. €10 for a. What is that? A vagina Greek lager? What? I don't remember that one. Oh, Virginia.
That's Virginia.
No, it's Vergina. Virginia Greek lager.
Sounds delicious.
You'll be happy to know that my dog is barking because the Fiberlax man is here.
Oh.
I'm still in the process of trying to get them to get that goddamn Fiberlax internet into our house. So this is the 5th time they've been here, and they're trying to figure it out because the power lines are behind our house and behind the other houses.
Man.
So they have to figure out a way to dig through those houses and get to ours, and it's just
horrible.
Serenity now.
Insanity now. Later.
Can I give a quick cheers?
Yeah, go for it.
I just wanted to recognize the great Willie Mays, one of the best baseball players to ever live.
Some would say the best.
I think you could argue that, yes. Passed away at 93. The Giants play in the Rickwood game today in Alabama.
Oh, that's tonight.
That is tonight, yeah.
Well, that times out kind of neat.
Yeah, it's going to make it a little extra special. That game's on Fox, too, by the way. It's kind of what replaced the Field of Dreams game this year as they're working on that site in Dyersville. But It's pretty cool. This is, the place where Willie Mays first played his first professional game in the Negro Leagues. And it'll be a really cool atmosphere, and just sad that he couldn't be there, but pretty cool to know that he was aware that this was happening. He put out a statement earlier in the week saying he wasn't going to be there, and we got the word on Tuesday that he had passed. So just thinking about Willie, and it was cool. I got to meet him, about 20 years ago with my dad, and got his autograph cool. at a Giants fan fest. So I got the bat back here. I posted it on Twitter earlier this week. But
was your dad old enough to have ever seen him play?
Oh yeah, yep. It was more probably the later half of his career, probably the last 10 years. But yeah, my dad grew up in the Bay Area and watched
what a thrill
Willie.
That must have been for your dad. Jeez.
Oh yeah, it was his favorite player of all time. So to meet him, it was kind of a funny story of how we got the autograph. It was he had a charity out there, and so he they basically just takes donations for his charity anytime you want to get an autograph. And I think my dad wanted a picture and a bat signed, and he gave him $100, and Willie went, more. Kind of gave him the more. But then he's like, it's for my kid. He's like, all right. So Willie loved kids, and it was a cool experience to get to meet him. And yeah, he's an icon for sure.
I found out about this news in a really bizarre way. I was listening to the Murph and Andy podcast as I was out on a run, and they started talking about this game that was going to be taking place. And Keith was talking about Willie Mays in the present tense. And I was like, I legitimately thought he had passed away already. Because I knew, he had to be in his low to mid-90s. I haven't seen anything from him recently.
Willie McCovey passed away a few years back too, and a lot of people kind of get those names confused with Giants legends. But
so I finished the run, and I Google Willie Mays, and sure enough, it says Willie Mays is 93 or whatever, alive. Like, oh wow, okay. 2 minutes later, I get the push notification that he died.
Dude,
Crazy.
That's wild.
It is.
That's wild.
Yeah, they just put up a cool mural at the Rickwood site there in Birmingham too.
That's the oldest stadium in the country, right? Like built in 1910.
It's one of the oldest, if not the oldest.
Interested to
It's
see
still
what
being
that.
used.
I'll tune in for
Yeah, you should.
a little bit of
I'll
that.
watch for 10 minutes.
I don't watch baseball. Yeah, 10 minutes. I don't watch baseball anymore, but that seems pretty cool.
Yeah, Giants Cardinals tonight.
Are the Cardinals good this year? Are the Giants good this year? I have no idea.
No, they're both average at best. But the National League's just terrible overall. There's like 8 teams that are fighting for a wild card spot within a game or two. So
this is what we're going to be dealing with now in men's college basketball. Just everybody is going to be in it, making the tournament. They're talking about, as early as not this upcoming season, but next season, adding another play-in site.
Well,
4 to 8
better
more
than
teams.
What else they were talking about?
Well, but I think this is just a step on the way to eventually going to 90 plus. But I did, because there were reports last night that this was happening. Matt Norlander put out a tweet that said this doesn't mean it's going to happen. There is some pushback. And one of the reasons why, this is interesting. So there's a couple reasons why they want to do this, right? One is more money. It's always money. 2 is coaches really want it because it's going to help them keep their jobs and make more money.
Yeah.
But now that they have to set aside all this money to pay the players, they start looking into this a little bit more. They might not make more money right away on this because there's something in the TV contracts that says that the TV networks don't have to pay more money just because they add more teams. So they might not make as much money as they thought, so it might not be worth it.
I'm going to write out on paper my idea that I've been pushing for 6-7 years on these people on how to make this great. Where you put all the at-larges together and you leave the 16 seeds out of it. They'll make more in television revenue on this and it'll make those like bubble-ish type high major teams actually have to like earn their way into that.
Yeah, and there's a way. You're right. There's a way that
we can do this.
They could expand a little bit and make this better.
But I don't want all 4 16 seeds having to play their way
I don't.
into the
Yes,
tournament.
if they're going to add another site outside of Dayton, like on the West Coast for a play-in tournament, I don't want it to involve then 15 seeds.
Correct.
Right.
It's got to be all your 11 and 12 seeds that are at larges.
Keep the 64-team bracket, which is what it sounds like they are going to do, at least for now. Even if they do expand, they're going to keep the 64-team bracket, and they're just going to add play-in tournaments. Move all the automatic qualifiers that have won their conference tournaments into that 64-team bracket. Make all of these play-in games the teams, like in Iowa, for instance, that are on the bubble, like the legit bubble teams. Call it the bubble tournament. I mean, you, like you said, you could make this, but I don't have any faith that that's going to happen.
Well, my thing, it seems like a no-brainer from a TV perspective. We're all going to watch on Thursday and Friday, no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter who's playing. We're all watching. We're not all going to watch on Monday and Tuesday.
No.
But
I rarely watch any of the games between the 16 seeds.
Correct. So
unless it's really close at the end.
One, you're keeping the integrity of your tournament where these underdogs are playing on Thursday and Friday, which is what we all love about it. Two, it enhances your TV product on Monday and Tuesday because it's putting more teams that we actually know, because we'll watch those games. We will bet on those games. I'm not betting on 2 16 seeds playing each other to get into I don't know anything about them. We call it the last chance dance. Your last chance to dance, baby.
I love
Let's go.
I did, when I was reading the article yesterday from Yahoo, and it was using quotes from Brett Yormark, and I don't understand this one. And Brett Yormark said, he told Yahoo Sports in February, quote, and this is why he's one of the guys that wants to expand the tournament, and he's saying this is why. Yormark says, I want to see the best teams competing for a national championship, no different than the Big Ten and the SEC want to see in football. I'm not sure that is currently happening. What? What the hell is he talking about? How does he believe that the best teams aren't competing for a national championship right now in men's college basketball, and that adding teams will do that?
What do you want, like a best of series, Brett? Or are we going to just get rid of the tournament?
He thinks that UCF should have been in the tournament, like UCF should have been involved in this. Like,
that's a preposterous take.
Terrible.
I mean, again,
you can argue that it's not the best way to crown a champion because it's really tough.
Anybody would do that.
But that's what makes it great.
Correct.
You got to win 6 games.
The best way to crown a champion is how the NBA and
the best way to crown the best team. The best way to crown the best team. Like if you're just looking to get the best team up there, yeah.
Even like baseball sucks now. Like those wild card games, and like, a team can win a division over 162
and you can get
games,
hot.
and then,
like it's all about the hot hand.
Yeah, like my Turtles last night. Did you hear about that?
No.
Huh.
What happened?
I've been on the hot seat. It's 2 years of losing.
Now, if you go out, does Van Winks go out with you because he's in the farm system, or would they maybe elevate Van Winks?
Yes.
He would go out with you? You would take him down with you?
He would get fired. Yeah.
Okay. So what happened?
It's a system. It's a program. Yeah, we all go down with the ship.
Yep. Matt's my lead developmental coach down in the minors. So went 3-12 this year in the regular season. And we go to the tournament last night up against the 1 seed that previously beat us 14-0.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's given us a chance here.
So this is like Iowa going against Ohio State this year.
I don't know if I call this team Ohio State, but it's like playing Michigan. Good team, really good team. And we won 7-4.
What?
Shocked the world last night.
You
Turtles
did?
Yep. It was unbelievable. One of the great sporting events I've ever witnessed in my entire life.
Trust the process, baby.
We just trusted the process. I've been telling people you don't want to see this team in June. This team was going to peak at the right time. I have faith in my girls. playing for a championship on Monday.
Wait, so you only had to win one game to get to the
since
championship?
we beat the 1 seed, yeah.
Wow.
Nobody gave us a chance.
I
Girls
think
were focused.
everything changed when Andrew Downs made you those turtle hats.
I agree. The culture, everybody was happier to be there, I had to look at myself in the mirror, too. We made some lineup changes.
Yeah.
Really, really, really happy. And these kids, they just keep developing, It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable how much better the Turtles are right now compared to 2 months ago. Like a totally different team.
Well,
and I
it's just
told
a
the
sign of a
girls,
great coaching staff.
I told the girls last night before the game started because it was raining. Okay, we played in the rain for like half that game, and I said, this is turtle weather. we like the moisture.
Hey, look, we're already at the hour mark, and because you do what you do, you teased dance recitals, so we have to hit that.
That's on the thing.
What the hell is going on with these dance recitals that they're charging money for? I didn't know about this until I went and visited my friend Dave Zabolinsky in Omaha, and they're taking their daughter to this dance recital, and they said that they have to pay, everybody that goes has to pay like $30 to get in the door to watch their daughter in the dance recital. And that includes their young son, who's just a little kid. He's got to pay. What are we doing?
That's not the case at ours.
What do you mean? I heard you talking on a podcast saying you got to pay to go in.
Well, no, you have to pay to, put your kid in the dance academy.
And the outfits and stuff.
And you have to pay for all their outfits. But, the actual recital, you just walk in. You don't purchase anything.
Okay, well, that's different than
I'm guessing Dave's kid is doing, the competition stuff, the, AAU dance.
You're already paying money to get the kid in the dance recital. You're already paying money
It's
for
expensive.
The practices and all that. And then just to go and watch your little kid dance, you have to pay like it's a Big Ten football game?
You can buy beer at ours.
Yeah, they do that there too.
Yeah, they sell
And it's like
alcohol
a
at my
2-hour
daughter's
event.
dance recital, but not Iowa State football.
Jamie, come on, Jamie.
And our girls' dance recital is on Iowa State's campus.
Incredible.
It's literally you can see the football stadium from where we're at.
You're sitting there drinking your Busch Light, watching your daughter dance on the stage, and you can't do that unless you're in the north end zone or whatever. What is it? The
My
south end zone?
4-year-old. Yeah, I'm guessing Dave's kid, and Dave's, let's be honest, Dave's a little more uppity than us.
Definitely more uppity than you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing his kid's probably a little higher end dance studio than Maya and Van Wink's.
I just don't get it.
Really nice dance studio, but it's not my point is what we do, I think costs a lot. You could spend a hell of a lot more on these dance deals than what we're doing.
Okay, well, I'm glad to hear that you don't have to pay money to go watch your daughter dance. I'm
I
very
spent
happy
enough
to
money
hear
on
that.
the dance.
Good God.
Well, have a great weekend, everybody.
No Caitlin Clark talk today?
She had a good game last night. Really good game.
What'd she
I
have,
thought
19?
she might get her first triple-double. She ended
She
up
and
with
Aaliyah Boston are really connecting right now.
Yes, and they won again. Yes, it was against one of the worst teams in the league, but it's 3 straight wins. They're in playoff position. Clark she was in control of her game throughout. I think she finished with 18 points, 12 rebounds, and 6 assists, something like that. Looking really good.
We will be back on Monday morning, and then next week we're figuring out how we're going to do next week because Hassel's going on vacation. We'll make sure you have all your shows and all that good stuff regardless. But thanks to Matt Van Winkle for production as always. Our title sponsor is Fareway Meat and Grocery. Signing off here from the Channel Seed Studios on your Thursday. Have a great weekend, my friends.